Hey, hi, and welcome to Meet the Professionals, a series where I sit down with various people from different industries to find out a bit more about what they do, why they love it, and how they got into it. Today, I'm sat down with Tom, who is from the music industry. Hi, Tom. Thank you for chatting with me today.
No
Could
problem.
we start off by you just giving us your current job title and a bit of an overview of what you do?
Yeah, so I guess I'm a composer and sound designer for video games. And what I primarily do every day is we work on different projects, different video games, and we make sounds, music, and implement them into the video games themselves.
Wow, okay, nice. So one of my questions is, what does an average day consist for you? But I guess it must vary depending on what you're working.
Yeah, yeah, it varies quite a lot, but it could be anything from, setting up a recording session with a voice actor maybe, or writing a song, recording things down, or making stupid sounds. And then some days it's quite a lot more hands-on involved tech-wise, and you're actually implementing sound effects and ambiences, whatever, into a video game, which is a lot more
Amazing.
IT-wise than music-wise.
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of skills do you think someone, I would say sort of hands-on skills, but also personal skills, do you think someone would need to undertake a role that you're in?
Yeah, I mean, I think being tech savvy is it sounds like that's like an old phrase now, I guess, because
Yeah.
everyone's kind of tech savvy. But I think knowing your way around, basic computer things like using Windows and even using Mac to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like the baseline skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else, I think you can build on top of just your foundational knowledge of using a computer, really. Because I wasn't the academically the smartest, with maths or other sciencey things, but I knew how to work computers and things and fiddle with games and stuff. So that was kind of how I got into it.
Nice. Okay. So
Yeah.
do you hold, is it specific qualifications you need to get into it, or is, like you say, is it more kind of just the know-how and getting experience and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say back when I started, 4 years ago, I don't think there was a qualification that really would have helped. But now I've been seeing loads of really like interesting specific courses to do with music and
Yeah.
video and sound design. So there's actually quite a few bespoke courses now that are like, do you want to do sound design for video games and composition specifically for that? And if I had the degree in that, that'd be quite handy.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot more sort of
Yeah, I think
on, I guess.
yeah, like as time goes on, there's loads more bespoke things. I think if you can nail down what area you want to work in and get a qualification in that thing, it's not like any jobs I see are asking, hey, you need to have this requirement, but it would really help if they knew, okay, they obviously are passionate about this area because they've gone and spent all that time learning it, and those skills aren't going to, it's not going to be a problem to have all those uni skills behind you, really.
Yeah. I guess that's quite a nice reflection of how the industry is sort of growing, and I guess not necessarily becoming more recognised, but people are like, okay, there's an interest in this, and there's a lot of potential for people to work in it, avenues. So
yeah, it's fast growing too, because in the even a year after I started uni, I was just doing a music course, pretty standard music tech course, and that's quite broad. That can be anything, that could be writing, that could be producing, that could be anything really. But now I've seen so many more. Even the year afterwards, being like a game design course, and I was like, oh, like a game sound design course would have been awesome.
Ideal.
Yeah, that's quite exciting. I mean, I definitely think it's going to be a lot more in that direction. I mean, it grows so fast that I don't know where we'll be in 5-10 years with all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. What's the most exciting thing you've worked on, or perhaps the strangest thing you've worked on that people will be like, oh, that's different?
Yeah. It's so hard to explain. I mean, we have loads of different styles of projects. So some are like sim management games that are quite standard, like kind of like The Sims, I guess. Or it was like a really dark Western soundtrack. So it's like we could kind of bring our guitars out and play something quite cool. But the weirdest thing I've done recently, there's one game where we're doing it's like a tavern, it's like a fantasy world, and these orcs kind of walk around and sing along. So I've got like a microphone and I'm doing stupid like wah, wah, wah sounds as like singing as an orc, but like to the whole song we've written. And that's always a weird recording session, having everyone looking at you while you're trying to be serious, while also
trying to get into.
Yeah.
Nice. It sounds like, as we said at the start, there's a lot of variety, and a lot of every day could be different depending on which. It's really fun. Nice. What's your favourite aspect of your job? What do you sort of enjoy the most out of what you do?
I think because usually we're working really closely with the developers, so the people that are making the video games, and it's quite nice to be part of a team that are doing something that is more than you could achieve on your own. I mean, I think it's quite cool to be part of something bigger that you're only a small part in, but when you see something get released and people enjoying it, it's quite cool knowing that you're a cog in that machine, if that makes sense.
Nice. And I like that idea of all the kind of different elements and everyone sort of pulling together for this finished product. Must be.
Yeah, and the more I've done it, the more you start to realize how many assets there are to just a project in general. The amount of different staff across the board that are involved is quite impressive, actually.
And again, a lot of scope for because it always baffles me how many jobs are out there that you've never heard of. And I think when you think of the music industry or something, you think, oh, it must be producing, it must be this, but there's so much to it, isn't there? And I think it's just spotlight on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I'd love to have known that when I was at college, because I was doing a music course at college, thinking like, we're just the kids that are doing a course that's fun because we don't really know what we're doing. Like maybe one of us will get a job, but I've got loads of friends from my music course in college that are working in the industry now, and we're all doing completely different things. I'm working on games. I have friends that are recording, like artists, or some friends that are touring and doing sound engineering. So it's not like a creative DOS subject, which is cool.
I was going to ask, why did you become sort of working in the music industry, work video game? Kind of what was so you did music at college, and what else did you how did you get to where you are now, sort of thing? And why? Are you based on a passion for music, or is there more to it?
Yeah, I think when I was, in my teens, all I wanted to do was play guitar and play music. I didn't really, enjoy learning. But now, when I'm going to college and just trying to do music and write, I think I just wanted to. I didn't think I'd get a job, so I almost was just doing it because it was something I enjoyed. But then, as I got older, I started to realize there's ways you can do this. And even like YouTube videos, people might need an intro for a YouTube channel, and that's quite easy. Like, oh, that's like a 30-second thing. I could easily do that. And then you just start doing little things like that and go, actually, I could do a minute and a half and help these guys with the game, or help. I ended up helping a lot of people out for free earlier on. And then that turned into, oh, this could be something like I start charging for eventually, and that kind of just built up from there. But it wasn't something I intended to do when I was going to college. I didn't think I'll be doing games. Which is quite fun.
Nice. Okay. And Cedar Studios, is that something that you set up yourself, or what? Explain that for us.
So me and my business partner Phil, we started. I was about the time I was working on some games for free, and I started taking on more work than I could. Now I knew him from uni, actually. Another good reason to go and network at uni and stuff. And I knew he was interested in the same things as me, so I asked him, "Hey, do you want to get involved and help me out on this project? Because I know you need work and I'm desperate for help." And then we just decided to run with that. And where he lived was called Cedar Stables, something like that. So we there's so many companies with the name Cedar in it now. But yeah, it just started off as an accident, really. And then as we were doing work, we kind of like, well, maybe we should make a bank account under that name, because it seems weird that we're giving them one account, and then kind of by accident we ended up having a business that we didn't intend to start with.
Okay. We sort of lightly touched on this earlier, and you said you didn't know, but I'm going to ask you anyway. The industry, obviously, in 5 to 10 years' time, a lot could change, and a lot of people have asked in these interviews, take into consideration technology and AI and potential for that to change the industry with their job roles. Where do you see sort of your industry in particular, or even your job role in sort of 5 to 10 years' time? What changes do you think might happen?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because I'm in this bubble, but I feel like the games industry's years ahead in terms of work work from home, like you know, that kind of future of how people are going to deal with that. I mean, the coronavirus issue for everyone in the games industry, most people were lucky enough to just kind of pretty quickly just work from home, you know.
Yeah.
Because you can just take your desktop from work, carry on from home, and we will use Slack already. Most of our clients and most people we talk to are already messaging as our primary form of contact. So I think in terms of that, like, we're pretty set up to carry on forward. And I think obviously I'm starting to think, I wonder how many studios are going to start popping up now and realizing, hey, we don't need to rent an office space that much. We could probably afford to save that money and all work from home and just, you know, have video calls. And so I think, I honestly think it was going to keep, I mean, games is growing so fast. I mean, I can only see the games industry getting more and more colossal.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think this is, the work from home situation has proven that this is a pretty solid industry. I mean, I didn't think that I'd be one still luckily enough to have a job during this, but yeah, it's weird times.
But yeah, it's definitely, I totally agree. The gaming industry is, I think, only set to get bigger, and like we said, all those different avenues down it. There's just plenty to pursue. Nice. What piece of advice would you give someone who's sort of starting off, perhaps on their college journey, has just picked music or game design or something, and they're thinking about following a sort of similar path to yourself?
I would say you definitely got to keep playing games and keep enjoying it, because I think you don't want it to become too much of a job, because everyone, you know, that I've worked with in, you know, as game devs, or, you know, people that are doing really well, they all love what they do, and they all really enjoy games still. They all still talk about games, and they're still fans of games, you know. So I think don't think that by playing games that's not working. And that was my biggest trap. It was like, actually, the more I'm kind of keeping in the loop and knowing what I'm doing, then the better that is. And also keep an eye on what people are using to develop with. You know, Unity is a software that is always being used, and I wish I'd spent more time. Like, it's free to download most of these things, so you could download Unity yourself now and start fiddling around with how to actually make a game for free.
Nice.
And that's like a really great free resource that you can do without, you know, any sort of real tech, and that's something that I would recommend doing. But then again, I don't know, in 5 years' time, maybe Unity will stop existing. So it's just trying to keep an eye on, like, listen to loads of podcasts, like industry podcasts as well, keep in the loop of what people who are working in that industry are talking about. You know, I always used to listen to game devs talking about things as a fan, but actually it's quite helpful to know what they're doing industry-wise. Are they using Unity? What are they being published by a huge guy, or are they doing their own small team thing? It's quite good to kind of keep your finger on the pulse in that way, I think.
Yeah, like you say, kind of still enjoying it as much as you did before, but just having kind of almost business head on, like, okay, well, how could this be useful, or, you know, taking that information sort of thing.
Just be a huge fan in the way, you know, the same way you listen to anyone that you're interested in musically, just follow it in that same way, and you'll know what's going on, roughly, I think.
Yeah, nice. Well, thank you so much for that, Tom. That was really great. Really lovely to hear about what you do. It sounds like a really interesting career, and I'm sure there's lots of people who are like, oh, I didn't know that was even a thing, or, you know, how to get into that. So really, really useful. So thank you. Guys, when you're watching, if you want to leave a comment below, I'm sure Tom could give us some advice and answers, sort of help you out if you've got any questions. And yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.